And the reason why we've got to get ourselves together and do the basic stuff and do the basic work is so that we can get to the top of our very own hierarchy and actualize ourselves. It's the final stage of development in Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And it's the place and the state of mind where we can take full advantage of who we are. We can take full advantage of our potential and develop everything we really, really want to develop. And when we look at follow God first and all that will be added to you, this is really what they're talking about in scientific terms. So we are directed towards becoming who we really are, which is who we really are at our full potential, being 100% authentically ourselves, which is the pinnacle of a self-realized life. So if you want to self-actualize yourself, then you're basically wanting to maximize your potential and do what you need to do with the greatest of your capabilities. So there are certain common characteristics of self-actualized people. Not only that they get what they want, they live fully realized, happy, blissful, and joyful lives that have significant meaning, but they also have certain characteristics that are common across the world and time. So they haven't changed, and it's good to know what motivates our personalities to actualize our full potential and then grow and contribute at the highest level. So the first thing he said was self-actualized people tend to embrace the unknown, the mysterious, and the ambiguous. So self-actualized people get to a stage where they have enough certainty and safety so that they are not threatened or afraid of stepping out of their comfort zones. So Einstein said, the most beautiful thing we can experience is the mysterious. So become a mystic if you want to experience self-actualization and put yourself into a position where you're growing at your full potential. Self-actualized people also accept themselves together with all their flaws, their shadow selves, and the things that they must accept about their own human nature. And this is really the Stoic style of thinking, where we can actually bring to consciousness our shortcomings, our shadow selves, our egos, and really when we shine light on the dark side of ourselves, the light gets stronger and stronger, and the darkness or the avoidance or the fear becomes weaker and weaker, while the self strengthens. Self-actualized people also prioritize and enjoy the journey, not just the destination. You can't be fooled for very long that we never really get anywhere, do we? We're never really going to arrive anywhere. So self-actualization as a process, much like life, is what it's about. It's about the journey and not just the arriving, which never ever happens. Go look at Hollywood, go look at other people's lives, go read autobiographies, and you'll see the arriving never comes, but the journey never really ends. Self-actualized people are also inherently unconventional. They're more eccentric, and they don't have to conform, and they also don't have to shock or disturb or try and stand out to fulfill their needs of significance. So conventional fashion, for example, wouldn't be a thing to someone who has been self-actualized. There was a famous professor who once wrote on the board at a doctorate exam the question: if someone arrives at a fancy event, black tie event, and this person arrives with everyone wearing suit and tie in flip-flops, baggies or shorts, and a vest, what will the self-actualized person do, think, and behave like? And when he came back in to ask these students, they actually had no clue. They didn't realize what he was talking about. And he wrote on the board, a self-actualized person seeing somebody who didn't fit in at all would not even notice. So they don't strive, self-actualized people. They rather develop. Self-actualized people have definitive purpose and an energy to do nothing other than go towards their destination while enjoying that journey. So they're not concerned with nonsense, trivia, distraction, as much as they are with higher meaning, growth, and contribution. Self-actualized people are also not troubled by the small things and tend to be grateful as well. They share deep relationships with a few people, don't need big crowds, but also they identify with the human race, maintain empathy, great love, and can identify with both the imperfections of the world and what the world desires, which is obviously pleasure, joy, growth, and contribution once again. So self-actualized people know all they need to know about humility and being humble and empathic and honest. So this is the courage that really is in all of us, but it doesn't emerge because we tend to close ourselves off and be afraid. So self-actualized people resist enculturation. Culture, time, fashion don't tend to matter so much because they are self-directed, they are autonomous and are not driven by what society dictates. So they don't follow the rules, they follow their ethics, which they have developed. So one of my favorite sayings is first follow the rules really, really well and then learn how to break them all. And this is what it means, that when you've developed your own ethics and morals, you don't need to follow the rules any longer. You follow your own compass internally. Self-actualized people are not perfect, but they're progressive. They're determined and progressive instead of striving for perfectionism, which can never be attained by a multifaceted human being. We're physical, psychological, emotional, and spiritual. Our emotions can go up and down as life happens. Our physiology is changing all the time, from puberty at around 12 years old all the way through to old age. You're never going to remain constant. So it's the same with our emotions, the same with our psychology. As we become more and more conscious, the veil of our ignorance disappears, and ignorance is bliss in the beginning. So all these things change. And as we progress, we can be tempted to stop and become fearful of our deeper emotions, of looking beyond the scars of the traumas we've all experienced. But if you push through all of these things, you are satisfying the needs that are intrinsic to your human nature and your growth. Certainty, uncertainty, significance, love and belonging, growth and contribution. When you have satisfied those needs, there's nothing left for you to do but become your highest self through self-actualization.